Good morning, class. Today we're going to be talking about place values, and at the end of this lesson, the students should be able to identify place values up to the 10 million spot. Do you know your place? How many of y'all can tell me the first place value of a whole number? Ones. Good job. So if you look at this place value chart, we have our ones, and then our next place value is tens, hundreds. Then we go into our thousands. But in our thousands position, we have ones, tens, and hundreds. Then we go into our millions, and we have ones, tens, and hundreds also in our millions. But today we're just going to focus on being in up to the 10 millions position. Okay? At this point, I would have students to watch a video from Khan's Academy to better their understanding of place values, and then we will go to the next slide. Okay, in this slide here, this is learning the value of each position on this place value chart. It tells us here that each one is equal to the unit value. So here in our one spot, what is our unit value in our one spot? What would be our unit value in our one spot?
The 6.
The 6. So the 6 is just only word 6, okay? Because it tells us that each one is equal to the unit value, and here our unit value is 1. So if we say 6 times 1, that make the 6 only be worth 6 ones. Okay? So let's go to our next slide to get a little more in depth. It tells us that this place is 10 times the previous unit. So if we said that our ones was only worth 1 times that number, which makes this only be worth 6, then this tells us that our unit value is 10 times the previous position. So that's why this unit is worth 10. So if we have 5 tens, what is the value of that 5?
50.
50. Because it tells that each 10 is equal to 10 times the value, which is 5 times 10, which is 50, which makes that 5 represent how many tens?
5.
5 tens. Good job.
And now 4 of the hundreds.
Okay? So if we was to go to the hundreds, and we have that our hundreds is 10 times the previous unit, so that makes it 10 times 10, so our hundreds is worth 100.
4.
So 4 times 100 is what?
400. 400.
400, so that make our hundreds worth 400. So that lets us know we have how many hundreds?
4.
400s. Good job. And if we was to go on down the place value chart, we will be able to say that the thousands is 10 times 100, which give us that this position is worth 1,000. So that means we have 3,000. And then if we go on and on, okay, it tells us that in this position in the ones, it is equal to the unit value of the number. So in this example, 6 is 6 ones. Okay? Now, let's go and talk about decimals. Anything that's on the left side of the decimal is considered a whole number. Anything on the right side of the decimal is considered a tenth, which means that it is not as big as a whole number. Okay? So if you see here, say this place is 1/10 the unit value. So 1/10 is equal to 0.1. Okay, we also have our hundreds and our thousands. So here, how many tenths do we have?
7.
7 tenths. So each tenth is equal to 1/10 of the unit value. So we have 1/10 times 7. So how many tenths do we have?
7.
7
tenths.
7 tenths. Okay, so this number is 7 tenths. Okay, any questions so far?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
All right, so for our closing activity on our place values, At this point here, I will have the students come up as I call out a number. A student would come up to the board and write which place value that's in that position that I called out. But for this presentation, they're just going to speak it so that they won't be on video. Okay, so at this point, I will call out a student and I would say, Johnny, what value is the 5 in this number?
5,000.
And they would come to the board and they will write thousand in this spot here. And what we would do as a class, we would agree or disagree if Johnny is right on this position. Okay, and we would do this a couple of times with the different place values. Just like if I would say, class, what is the value of 2 in this number?
1.
The ones. Okay, what position is the 8 in?
8, 1 million, the 10 million. No, the millions. The millions.
The millions. Good job. Remember, we have ones, tens, thousands. I mean, ones, 10, hundreds,
thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions, 10 million.
Good job. So at this point, as I call out each number, like I say, a student would come up to the board and they would answer the question by providing it in this spot. Okay. So this is another activity that we have, and again, this is where my students will break down into groups, and when they break down into groups, each group will have a chance to answer a riddle on this place value puzzle. Once the group has figured out the riddle, one person from their group will be able to come up to the board and write the correct answer in the correct place value. Okay? If we look at number 1, number 1 says that we will multiply the sum of 1 and 2 by 3 and write your answer in the tens place. So as a group, they will work together. They will come up with their answer. The group will raise their hand. I will choose one of the students to come up to write the answer to number 1 in the 10 spot. Right here it says that we are going to add 1 and 2, which give us 3. And it says we're going to multiply the sum of that by 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. So the student would come up here and they would have to write 9 in the tens place. So we have our ones and our tens, and here we will write 9. And as the class worked through this riddle, each student or each group would get an opportunity to come up to the board at this time and fill in the puzzle, and we should come out with an answer. Each place position should have a number in it by the time they get through with this riddle. And as you can see, it goes all the way down to number 8. But they will be able to work as groups, and a student would come up to the board at this time to answer each riddle.